Good morning, everybody. So today we are canning salsa. Let me show you how I've got everything set up. Okay, so I've already chopped the onions. These are going to go in the food processor. Peppers, some jalapenos. I used gloves this time. If you've seen my previous video, I actually burnt the end of my fingers a little bit because I took my gloves off halfway. I have a bowl of cold water to take the skins off the tomatoes. I have some extra bowls here to put the tomatoes in. I have boiling water, the pot that we're going to stick the salsa in. Here's some of the Roma tomatoes. And then I bought all of these. So the reason why I bought so many tomatoes is I realized, even though I have loads of tomatoes on my plants, and I have about 30 30 tomato plants. I want to make tomato sauce, and I realized that with the amount of tomatoes I have growing and the amount that I need for the recipes, I was looking into the recipes, I needed like double what I had. So I went to a farmer's truck and went and bought a whole bunch of organic Roma tomatoes. And so today we're going to make the salsa, and then all the tomatoes from the plants are going to be tomato sauce. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to start with taking the skins off the tomatoes. If I have too many tomatoes for this recipe, I'm still going to take the skins off of all of them, and I'm going to chop them up, and I'll put them in freezer bags and use them for the tomato sauce later in the year. So let's start with the skins. Okay, so we're going to do this the exact same way. If you watched my peach canning video, we're going to blanch the tomatoes to take the skins off. You don't want to do it any more than 2 to 3 minutes. So we're just going to put them in the boiling water. And then the big bowl of cold water I have on the counter, we're going to put these right into it. Oh, I just saw a bad one. We'll take that one right out. And we're just taking all the skins off so we can blend them up. This is the easiest way to get the skins off, that I've found anyways. Okay, so we're just going to wait a couple minutes, and then I'm going to start putting them into the cold water, and then we'll take the skins off. Okay, so a few of the skins are already starting to come off. They're already splitting, so I'm going to put them right into the cold water. As you can see, they're already starting to split. I'm going to give them another couple seconds just to make sure they come off nice. This is the big stock pot I have that we're going to make the salsa in. Well, cook it in. Okay, so these are starting to come off really well. Put them right into the cold water here. And I just do this with all of the tomatoes until we can take all the skins off. I like to start with this step. It's the easiest step. Little time consuming, but effective. Give those ones a couple more minutes. The easiest way to tell if the skins are ready is just rub your thumb across it. If it doesn't move, then it needs a little bit longer in the water. But you do not want to do it too much, otherwise they'll mush. Okay, I'm just going to put some more in. After I'm done putting these in, I will also, after I'm done trying to get the skins off, I will keep the water boiling just in case a few of them need more time. Like if I have trouble getting the skin off, then I can put it back in the water. While the tomatoes are blanching, as you can see, the skins are coming off, I started peeling them, taking the skins off. If you don't mind the skins being on your tomatoes, you do not have to take them off. I know there's quite a few people that leave the skins on their tomatoes. But I have a thing with texture, so I like to take them off. I find the texture of the final product is better. So I'm going to finish blanching all of these tomatoes, and then I will give you another look at me taking the skins off. So I only have one load left in the pot to cool the skins here. So all you do, see how it's split? Just pull it right off. It is a little bit more difficult than taking the skins off of peaches, but not by much. And then I usually just take out the core. I know a lot of people like to just blend up the skins and the core. I'm not one of those. It's literally, excuse me, a matter of preference. Just like this. I feel taking the extra time to take the skins off is worth it. If you look, that skin is quite thick, and I just find the texture to be a little off-putting if I don't take the skins off. See, they come right off. It's actually quite simple and easy. But like I said, it's a matter of preference. I do know there are some people that like to put their tomatoes in the oven, and it will create the same thing, and you kind of might get like a little roasted flavor as well. So that's an option as well if you don't want to go through this portion. You still have to take the skins off, but you won't have to go through boiling them all. I had to put some more, take some of the water out of this bowl and put some more cold water into it. All the tomatoes they were heating up the water quite a bit. And you want to have cold water. It stops the cooking process, so it doesn't cook your tomato. It just blanches the skins off. And it helps the skins start to release. See how they split? Let me see if I can find one where it's starting to come off right here. See how it just starts to come off? That's from the cold water. So, like I said, I only have a little bit left in the pot there. So I am going to finish all of these. And then once we're ready to start chopping everything in the food processor, I will come back and we'll do that part together. I don't want you to have to sit here and watch me do the entire bowl of tomatoes. Actually, this process was quite fast. It actually didn't take me as long as I was expecting. I was expecting, sorry if you can hear my neighbor, he's using his chainsaw. I was actually expecting this to take me a lot longer than it has. So that was a pleasant surprise. I expected to take the skins off. It would take me at least a couple hours. So far, the blanching and taking the skins off has only been about an hour. So that's not too bad. And the rest of it is all a food processor. So I chopped up some stuff and prepped it. So the rest of this process is actually quite quick. So I'm going to finish the rest off camera, and I will come back once all the tomatoes are peeled and cored. Okay. So, I got this big bowl. This is about approximately 25 to 30, I'd say about closer to 30 pounds of Roma tomatoes. So we are going to do a small to medium chop on these, and I'm going to put them into the big bowl, and then we're going to do the same thing to the onions and the peppers, but we'll do them one at a time, and we'll measure out how many tomatoes we need for hopefully 4 times the recipe, and we're going to put them in this big pot over here on the stove to cook it into the salsa. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch in here. We're going to chop them up. This took me about an hour and a half or so to finish chopping all these tomatoes. Not too long. Would have been nicer if it was a little faster, but, or not chop, but take the skins off, pardon me. Okay. I'm going to get a spatula just so I can move things around so I can see the chop on these. Make sure it's nice and even. So I'm not actually going to measure anything until I put it in the pot over here. Okay, let me look at that. Because I don't want it too fine, but I don't want it too thick either. I think that might be good. This part is all preference on how thick you want your salsa to be chopped. I had a discussion with my fiance yesterday, and we decided a small to medium chop would be good. And mild to medium for heat. Just want to situate it so they chop nice and evenly. There, let me see. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Some of the smaller tomatoes mushed on me. My neighbor's still using his chainsaw. Okay, so I'm going to chop all these up, and then when I get to chopping the other stuff up, I'll come back and we'll do that together. Okay, so the tomatoes are diced. I'm glad I put them in this big bowl. So the recipe I'm using is fresh vegetable salsa out of my Bernadine cooking book, or canning book, pardon me. So it says, we're going to try and 4 times the recipe for this. It says one times the recipe makes 5 pints. So I want at least 20. Would be nice. We'll see what we get. So it says 7 cups of tomatoes per recipe. So we need about 28 cups. So this is my 2-cup measure here. I already have it started to start warming it. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oof. 10. We'll see if we get that many. 12. 14. 16. 18. 20. Yeah, I think we will. 22. Ooh, there's a big one. 24. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. 26. 28. Okay, so the rest of this I'll put in a bag and use for tomato sauce when we make the tomato sauce out of the garden. Okay, so now let's go chop up the peppers and the onions. Okay, so the recipe says 2 cups of chopped onions per recipe, so we need about 8 cups. So we're just going to do all of these. If there's extra, I'll put them in my freezer. I'm going to try and dice them fairly close to the same of what we did with the tomato. I'm going to do it the exact same way. Just chop it down here so that they blend or chop evenly. Because I did notice with my food processor here, it doesn't always chop it evenly. And that's why I like using my other onion chopper. Let's see. I think I'm going to do it one more time. Onions are a little bit harder than tomatoes. My hands are still stinging. This whole hand is still stinging from yesterday when I made the jalapeno hot sauce. That video should be posted. I stupidly wore gloves, but then the gloves were annoying me. And I took them off halfway through chopping up all of those jalapenos. And I didn't realize that it would burn my skin. And I think I burned a little bit right in here because it still stings. I did wear gloves today when I chopped them up. I made sure I kept them on. I won't make that mistake again. And I was scooping them out like this to take the seeds out, and that's why all of these hurt. I think I didn't realize that it would sting or burn your skin that quickly. It didn't take me very long, and I washed it, but damage is already done. Won't do that again. One more. This is all a matter of preference, how much you want the onions or the vegetables diced. There is only one thing I'm going to do differently in this recipe. This recipe calls for all lemon juice. I am going to substitute, or not lemon juice, vinegar, pardon me. I'm going to substitute at least half of the stuff with lemon juice. I find lemon juice tastes better in tomato products than vinegar. It'll give it more of a fresh taste. You can substitute lemon juice for vinegar in canning, but you cannot substitute vinegar for lemon juice. Lemon juice is more acidic. Okay. There's not very many onions left. There's less in here, so I just want to make sure I'm not pureeing it. Let's see, I might not need to do it a third time. No. There's less in here, so. Okay. Okay, so let's measure out 6 cups of onions and put it in the mixture. Okay. Try and get one of my really long spoons here. It's already starting to boil a little bit. I have a feeling this is going to make more than 20. We'll see. So we need 6 cups of onions. 2, 4, 6. And the rest of it I will freeze for my regular cooking like I usually do. Okay, so I'm going to go dice up the peppers the same way, and then we will come in, put them in the mixture again. Just kind of mix this in a little bit here. So I'm going to go do that off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so I chopped them up, and it says 1 cup per recipe, so about 3 cups we need. 2, about there. I'm just going to mix all this in. I'm just going to let this simmer for a minute while I prepare the rest of the ingredients to put into this. Okay, so I have about... Okay, so this recipe calls for 8 jalapeno peppers per recipe. And we're 4 timesing the recipe, so that's 32 jalapenos. That's a bit hot for what we're trying to make. So I have 4 jalapenos here. We want like a mild to medium. I think I'm going to end up using all 4, but we're going to put in half for now because I know from yesterday using these jalapenos, they are very spicy. So I'm going to do half, and then we're going to taste it once some of this is cooked a little bit and see if we're going to add the other half. Yeah, let's do a tiny bit more. I'm going to regret it, I know it, but okay. And now I just need to get the garlic and some of the seasonings to put in. Okay, so for the, I think I'm going to do all lemon juice. It calls for 3/4 cup of white vinegar or lemon juice per recipe. So we need about 3 cups. I have organic lemon juice here. I think this will give it a fresh taste and still have the acidity we need for the canning. 3. You do not want to cut back on this. Sorry, my window's open here. Okay, I'm just going to mix that in. The acidity is needed for the canning process, so do not skip that part. Okay, so I'm going to add some garlic. It says 3 cloves per recipe. I have garlic paste here. 3, so about 12 of these. Got it on my cookbook. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think I'm going to do one more just for a little extra flavor. Okay, now I also need 4 156 milliliter cans of tomato paste. I have these. They're 156 milliliters, and I have 4 of them here. So we're just going to put all 4 of these right in. I think this helps heighten the color and the tomato flavor of the salsa. This is my favorite tomato paste brand. Oh, he's cutting down trees. I think it's going to make a lot of salsa. I think it might make more than I'm expecting. We'll see though. We'll see once it cooks down a bit, the juices and stuff. Last one. I also tend to use the Costco brand of tomato paste as well. I'm probably going to end up using that for the tomato sauce that we're going to make eventually, because I know that it needs a lot, so I'm just going to buy a case. Okay, let's mix all this up. And then I think all that's left is cilantro and cumin. Obviously, if you don't like cilantro, don't add it. Okay, cumin. We need about 2 teaspoons altogether. Let's see if I can get this off. 1, 2. That doesn't seem like a lot for this whole pot. Half a teaspoon per recipe, yeah, okay. That doesn't seem like a lot for this whole pot. We'll taste it later. So I am going to do one other thing to this. I am going to add about half a cup of sugar just to even out a little bit of the acidity. So I'm going to go get that. Sugar. That is purely preference. That is not in the recipe. Okay, I'm going to go chop up the cilantro and be right back to put that in here. Okay, 2 cups of loosely packed cilantro. I chopped it fairly small just because I don't want big chunks in my mouth. Okay, so in the recipe it says to let this boil and let the mixture thicken a little bit for 30 to 40 minutes. We'll see, might take a little longer because we 4 times to the recipe. So I will come back and give you a little bit of update once that's done. I'm just trying to mix it all in here. I'm going to give you a look at the mess I'm about to clean up while this is boiling. Okay, so this is the mess. There's some there, there, all of this. So I'm going to clean this up while that's coming to a boil and thickening up. Okay, so this looks like it has thickened quite a bit. It was all the way up to like here. I think this is ready to jar. I did end up putting the rest of the jalapenos in. I just tasted it. It's about a medium right now. So I'm really happy I didn't put 32 jalapenos in this. I'm going to show you. Cleaned up a lot of the mess. I washed all the bowls by hand. Okay, let's start jarring up the salsa. Let's get busy and start jarring some of this. I'm going to do them in pints. I think that it'll stay fresher in my fridge longer. I shouldn't need to debubble these. I did taste this. A little bit spicy, but it's not bad. It's about a medium. So, in theory, this should make about 20 jars, but we will see. Oh, I didn't get my lids. Have them all hot here. Just got to get my tops. Okay. So I'm just doing hand tight. Looks like that. Quite curious to see how much this mixture is going to make. How much salsa. If you do want your salsa a little bit thicker, you could drain off some of the juice, but it's not necessary. I have vinegar and water on this cloth. It takes off any of the residue. You could can this in quarts as well if you think you could go through that amount in a short period of time. Because there is no preservatives in this other than lemon juice, right? So we usually use about this much in probably about a month. So I think this is a good amount for us. I'm just straining off a little bit of the juice, just so it's a little bit less juice when I'm putting it in. We use salsa quite a bit. I like putting it in my mashed potatoes in my shepherd's pie. Gives it more flavor. I actually have a video on my channel if you want to look at that. Making shepherd's pie. We do love tacos and quesadillas and stuff like that, so we do use it a lot. The beeping is my canner. It's heating up, getting ready for the jars. I have used my electric pressure canner. It's also a water bath canner. I've used it so many times now since my birthday, and I am in love with it. It works great. Very easy to use, and I find it a lot faster than the big huge water bath canner because you don't have to wait for the water to heat up as much. And I also like it because I can do smaller batches at once. And I don't have to heat up the entire big water bath canner to do that. Okay, so I'm going to fill the rest of these off camera, and I will come back when I have finished filling them all and show you how many jars we got. Okay guys, I'm finally done. This is what they look like. Looks really yummy. We got 26 pints. The recipe, 4 times the recipe should have been about 20 pints, but I think the tomatoes were kind of juicy. So 26 pints is what we got. So now I'm gonna put them in my canner here. And once they're all done being processed, I will give you a look at the finished product. So it is now 10 to 8 and I have only gotten 2 canner loads done. 1 still left to go, and I just put the last one, or pardon me, the third one in the canner. So I think this is where I'm gonna end the video for today. I appreciate everybody watching my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.